Hey guys, welcome back. It's your favorite game with the limp, and we're going to put together some more core space stuff. Make sure you check the video that I showed previously talking about the scatter terrain, because that will explain how to put together these pieces. We're going to do some Stasis Pod, some Dyson stuff, and all cool stuff in this one. But beforehand, I wanted to show you guys what I had done to these pieces that we had assembled previously. And I had mentioned before that you can use markers to go along the edges. This is Battle Systems' idea that I really like because it does touch these up and just give them that little extra bit of flair. I have found that Sharpie or Crayola both work equally well. Either one you want to go with works fine. And I did go back over these pieces, like this one you see with the flames. I'll do it like that. So come on, focus. There you go. But they all look good. I came along with a grayish marker actually and hit the sides of this and just try to match it to whatever the color it is, right? The issue I found with the pillar here, this came out pretty well. The brown worked pretty well. That matches in. I used the gray up here at the top. But this green, that was the closest green I could kind of find to this color, and it's all right. It's hit or miss as far as that came out. But it does stand out, or not stand out as much as that white. It kind of blends it in a little bit better. So that is something that you can go back and do if you want. And someone did mention in the previous video not to glue in the flame pieces. I had said that you could do that if you wanted to. It's up to you or not, but evidently there is a little more gameplay purposes to this. I have not read through all the scenarios that are in the rule book yet, so I'm not sure if this has some gameplay purposes for it being on or not. So definitely don't glue in the flames. This, I mean, that's personal preference if you want to have it showing on and off, but the flames, they're not a big deal. I wouldn't glue those in. But the rest of it though, definitely glue that to have that all together. Same with touching up your little plinths or crates or pillars, whatever, just to give it a nice stability. All right, so let's push these out of the way and we'll get into our next thing. First, we're going to take a look at our Stasis Pod here. And this sheet is going to have a couple. This up here is not one piece. It is two pieces that exist for the Stasis Pod. And down here you see the rest of the pieces. All right. Make sure you pay attention when you're doing this that there are two different shapes here. Okay. There's one that's wider and there's one that's a little more narrow. And it kind of comes into play with these support pillar pieces that are going to go on later. You'll see. So make sure you grab one of each. Okay, so it's not like one Stasis Pod uses these and the other uses these. This is one and this is one. Okay, so you need that, two of these little circles and these little pillars, and then one of these sets that will pop out now. And bam, see right there. And let's punch out the rest. All right, so when you're done punching those out, you will have these pieces, a couple of the supports, right here, a couple of these little round circles, the front ends, and these circles in the middle punch out. So those are separate pieces. These actually become part of the lids that go on the ends along with those pieces. And then this thingamajig. So this is going to be the centerpiece that, you know, it looks all cool, Stasis Potty. And you'll notice that it's got a whole bunch of these little half cuts all the way down it. So the purpose is to roll this so it will fit in here. All right, so you're going to turn it into basically a big circle. Just be careful as you're going along. Since it is long, you can bend it a little odd. And just kind of slowly keep tucking it around. These end pieces I have found, the last piece on each end, are the hardest to kind of get around. But as you slowly get it, you can get her set in the right position. Now, I'm not doing this with these pieces since I'm assembling them and it would take too long to do it while I'm doing this on camera. But if you do plan on doing what I was talking about earlier about coloring in the sides, I would do that while the pieces are in this position rather than waiting till it's all put together. Because as you can see here on the top there, as I tried to get in there, you get the little marks there on the top. So it gets real hard once the pieces are put together. If you are going to fill them in, do it now, and then it makes it a hell of a lot easier on the back end. I will do that on the later pieces that I do not assemble on camera. All right, so this one is the biggest pain in the butt because you just got to keep kind of finagling it until it's going to get into that oval shape. Let's find our front stamp side because I want to have the cut sides on the inside. Front is facing out, and let's try to keep that lined up. I try to put the cut towards the bottom, okay? So it's split along here at the bottom. That way that piece is going to be the hardest to be seen because when it's set up, it's going to be sitting there like so, all right? So the rest of this will be connected, and you want to kind of push it in to about there. All right, so you see how this has the middle piece, this has the middle piece there at the end. You want to put it to about there. And make sure I got the front on this. Come on, get on there. It's just getting that perfect round shape. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt because you want to make sure you do it so this doesn't overlap. And tuck back in so you keep that right shape. All right, give me just a sec. There we go. Perfect. All right, there we go. See? Slide her in and set them down. That way we can make sure they're staying flat. Definitely make sure you get it setting down like this. That way you can keep the angles correct on these two pieces. All right, now I mentioned about these previously, pointing out the fact that these are different shapes. Okay, so you see how this is wider. The wider side is going to have this end on it. Okay, so this is the wider side. It's going to be like this as you put it on, and you see there's a notch here, and then here and here for each one of these. So it's just going to notch together just like that. And let's get everything lined up. You can always adjust it. Once you get this piece in there, you can just fiddle with it until you get it in the right position. All right, come on, get on there. And all right, get in there. That's a little tight. All right, so what I did is I got them to where they were all started, right? And now I can get it to where it's flat and push it down on there to ensure that I got a good fit. These things are all designed in such a way that they're supposed to be able to be put together without requiring any glue and be able to stick. Now, there are just a few exceptions, kind of like the top of the pillar, but for the most part, that is true. And this piece will work without glue, but I definitely think it's a good idea to come back and glue it. But we are right about there. And you see how that's flushed up relatively close to each end. I should pull these out to even them up a little bit. So just keep fiddling with it until you get it into that right spot. Now, the problem here is that you are going to have to glue for these lid pieces. Okay, so the way these lid pieces work is these go on them. Okay, let's hold it up on the inside like that, and they're going to go here. All right, so basically once that piece is on the inside, this goes on the end to create kind of a cap. Okay, that's the ultimate goal of what you're looking for. Honestly, you really don't have to use these pieces if you don't want to. I would, just because I think it'll give you a little extra fit, and this is designed to fit in there like so, and it'll help kind of round these out. You don't have to if you want to skip that, but I would suggest that it's designed that way, and I think it works best that way. All right, so I would definitely have the front side of these facing out, and I think it's going to fit a little better, just personal preference, with the back side of these facing in, because that's going to be just a touch wider have that inside to create just that little bit of extra tension in there, making it stick a little bit better. And I'm trying to figure out what the best way to do this is. And I'm thinking I might do it kind of like I did those, because if I set that down on there, it's about finding the exact best spot for it. But I might just free eyeball that, just put it in the center, because it's not that crucial for it to be exactly perfect. I mean, even the cut here is just a little bit off on it. So we'll just eyeball it, put a little dab of glue in the center there, and cap these. Give me a sec, let me glue them. All right, so once you have those on there, and it doesn't, especially if you're using this stuff, like I said, you got about a half second, maybe a second worth of wiggle to try to get it in the right spot if you put it down wrong. But after that, it's stuck. It's on there, and it's not coming off. But what you're going to do is kind of cap it right on there, just like that. And it goes on each end. Let's get this one in there. There we go. Just like that. And that creates your stasis pod. I would definitely turn these around, try to have them set in just the right spot to make it look good. Up and down, crossways, whichever way you want to go with it. But once you have your piece set up just like that, I would push it down, try to make sure you got it settled just right, and then adjust this centerpiece until you've got it exactly where you want it, and then come back and hit this all with some glue. You definitely want to. They were showing how they didn't tack theirs in, but these stasis pods, I think they need to be glued. And in fact, I might even let it just sit there for a little while in that rounded shape, just to kind of let the cardboard relax into those cuts. So I'll probably come back tomorrow and glue this, just to give it a little bit of time, let it try to relax into this shape as best as possible. And just FYI, if you get any delamination like I did kind of right there, you see how it's kind of flaking out, you can push that back and hit it with a little bit of glue, or even color it in with a marker just to take that look off. All right, so that one took us a little bit of time, but I definitely wanted to hit this Dyson Reactor because this Dyson Reactor is just so freaking cool. If we have a little bit of time, we'll hit one more thing, but most of the rest of the stuff is actually so easy to put together. It's not that big of a deal. Like, especially if you've played any of the previous stuff, like the consoles put together very similar to how the others have gone. But I definitely wanted to show this Dyson Reactor because it is so freaking neat. So for the reactor, technically all you need is these 4 pieces, and where is it? Right here, this square. But if you want to give it that extra 3D look, you can punch out these pieces as well. I'm going to definitely give it the extra 3D look, so we're going to punch out all those pieces. All right, so got our Dyson Reactor plucked out. Get these inner pieces out. Now, these extra ones are the ones that are going to give you that 3D effect. Now, the key thing here is you can go ahead and attach those pieces. Now, to make it a little bit easier when we're putting this together, because this puts together very similar to a box, right? You got a couple of bottom pieces that get slotted into by the top pieces, right? Bam, just like that. Real easy peasy, put that together. But it's giving it the 3D look that comes into what I'm talking about here. So if you notice, this has a spot that can be punched out. Now, this is actually the inside of the reactor. What you're going to be seeing are these pieces. So it's going to kind of look like this when it's put together. That's what I was saying about you don't have to do anything else. You can just slot all these together, throw the little rectangle piece there on top and hold it and you're good. But doing this while you're at this step makes it a little bit easier if you do want that 3D effect, I think, because you don't have to worry about doing all this while the thing's already put together and trying to reach inside of it. Now, the way they explained it, there's a couple of ways you can do it, and I like the second way better. So I'm going to show you both, but I'm going to do it one way. Remember, this is the outside. Once it's all put together, this is going to be the side that you can see. You can either glue this piece to the outside here with this on the inside to give it that 3D look, or you can have it even deeper recessed by lining this up on the inside and having that inside to give it a deeper recessed 3D look. And I think this looks better. I just think that looks so freaking amazing. I'm actually going to come back. I'm going to see if I can find a light blue marker or something like that and color in here, right, these inside pieces to kind of give it like a glow effect, like the glow is coming up to here. So the easier way to do this is to lay these pieces down and go ahead and get these lined up. I would probably even do the back down against this side, right? So this is the front of this, makes this the flatter side there on the back. That way it attaches just a little bit easier. And line this up as best you can and then tack that in place. And then you simply have to glue this down on top of it. All right, so we got these two pieces down, and I tried it a couple of different ways just to see which one would work better. And I tried it one where I was holding up like this, trying to see inside and line the piece up, and one where I'm laying it down and freehanding it on there. This did not go anywhere near as well as this did. So do this one, laying it down. It's much easier because this is actually just a touch off. It's not going to be that big of a deal once I get this piece glued on there and having it look like that. It'll still look good, but it is just a touch off. So once we get there, we'll put a little bit of glue on these and have that same effect going on. Now these you don't have to worry about being quite as precise about it because you're just wanting the blue backing to shine through, to show through there. So as long as that hole is covered up, it doesn't really matter if they're lined up perfectly or not. Let's get it on there. And you can see it sticks quick. And like that, now you can see that we've got that deep recessed look. It gives it just a cool 3D effect, right? How you can see that the energy from the reactor is going on the inside there. Gotta love that. I mean, you don't have to do it. You don't have to go to these extra steps, but the fact that they give you the ability to do that is just so freaking awesome. I love that they do that. All right, now we're ready to put it together. There are a few bends on these pieces. Each one of them has a couple of half cuts here at the top to get them to connect together for that upstairs rectangle piece. You guys will see that. Make sure when you're gluing these pieces on that you're careful not to glue this cut. All right, so just give them all a little bend and then get them slotted together. And we'll put it together with that top piece and we'll have ourselves a nice little effect going on here. All right, push this down here. And you got to be a little careful because it's pyramidal shape. Right, so it's not straight down. You got to come in at a little bit of an angle. All right, got ourselves a nice flush corner there. Put this one on. Ooh, that one slid on nice and easy. All right, same thing, and then we just need to get this one lined up. Spread those out to the right shape and create our reactor. All right, just like so. There we go. All right. Make sure we adjust that a little bit. And you guys can see it comes together like that. Kind of creates that little bit of a top. but it is not a perfectly square top. It is a little bit of a rectangle, and that's because this has a little bit of a rectangle to it as well. And I think for me, I'm probably going to put the front side up, so the smoother side up on this one. Let's see if we can get that on there. Real easy, like tuck in there. Come on, tuck in, tuck in. Think thin thoughts. All right, there we go. And that's why that little bit of a hole, little bit of a cut is there at the top. So it kind of holds all this together. And pushed it just a little bit too hard. I am definitely going to come back and glue the shit out of this one to get it to hold exactly in the right place. Because this does, I mean, it fits good, but it doesn't fit great. It fits all right. But look at that. That is just the coolest little reactor. I love that recessed piece there. That's just going to look so freaking awesome. Come back, hit these edges with a little bit of gray or black magic marker, Sharpie, whichever color you want to use for it. And it's really going to stand out nice. I wish they had included those pieces now that I'm looking at it, because they had another one from an expansion that had these little circles. And it was that exact shape that you could punch out and glue on it just to give it that extra little 3D look. And with as much effort as they put into this, making that look so good, you know, with that deep recess to it, that would have just popped it out a little bit more. I mean, it's not a huge deal. I mean, by all means, everything they put out looks just friggin' fantastic. But, oh, man, look at that. Got some real, real cool pieces going here. I don't know, I was just looking at it. I was thinking, you know, that's white. I wonder if I could trim away that little bit of dark that's on that and just cover up that top bit. Maybe glue that on there and color it blue like that. I don't know. I might try to do that, or even see if I can find a color that matches this, right? That whatever metallic metal that's supposed to be, grayish metal. Color that all in to make it a single color, glue it onto the top, and then pull that piece up and kind of glue them both together just to give it a little more rigidity and give it a different look. That's just me thinking off the top of my head with this little extra piece, because truth be told, I don't like that hole there at the top. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but I just I think I'm gonna touch that up just a little bit. But I gotta say, this is one of my favorite pieces, and it does not take a whole lot of effort to get this thing put together. I mean, God, you guys watch me. I mean, I put it together and glued it all together with you guys watching me do it. It didn't take me any time at all to do it, besides having to come back here and mark the edges. Man, love it. Love their terrain. They really have some good stuff going here. All right, so there's our two pieces that we got done. We are definitely getting some good stuff going here, and I got to give it to them. As far as Firstborn goes, they had great terrain with the first core space, but they just like stepped up their game each time. Now, they had pieces similar to this, but they have so many different terrain sets that you can get, and for different games, for different eras of games. It's not all sci-fi stuff. Like I said, I've used it for World War II bolt action and the train set they had for that. If you want fantasy villages, they have stuff for that. And again, I'll reiterate it. These people don't know me. They've never sent me anything. I just like their shit. I think they put out good stuff. Plus, I like the game. The game is outstanding. Core space, I mean. All right, but yeah, we're going to cut it here. Definitely put your comments, questions, good stuff down below. Let me know what you think about that. And I will show you guys, because the next video for Core Space, I'm probably going to be filming the actual game, the scenario I'm going to get set up. But I'm definitely going to have this Dyson generator in it. And I think I'm going to try to include this piece, this addition on the top. I think that's just going to make it look better and be a little more stable. All right, you guys take care. I'll see you in the next one.